The excitement surrounding the release of the 2025 NFL schedule is reaching a fever pitch, especially for fans of the Chicago Bears. Set to be unveiled on Wednesday, May 14th, the schedule marks a crucial moment in the offseason calendar, offering the first clear glimpse of the battles ahead for one of the league's most closely watched franchises. While the official slate of games remains under wraps for now, the list of opponents has long been established, giving fans and analysts alike plenty to speculate about. For the Bears, the home schedule appears considerably more manageable than the daunting gauntlet awaiting them on the road. Inside Soldier Field, Chicago will face their familiar NFC North rivals, the Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers, and Minnesota Vikings. These games always carry added weight and intensity, but a revitalized Bears roster will look to seize momentum in front of the home crowd. Beyond divisional matchups, the Bears will host 5 more opponents: the Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants, Cleveland Browns, Pittsburgh Steelers, and New Orleans Saints. On paper, these 8 games present a winnable path. The Giants are in the midst of a rebuild, while the Saints and Browns both have questions under center. The Cowboys, while dangerous, have struggled with consistency, and the Steelers, depending on their quarterback situation, may not be the powerhouse of old. A 6-2 record at home seems like a reasonable target for a Bears squad that will be relying on a mix of young talent and coaching innovation. However, things get significantly tougher away from the Windy City. The Bears' road schedule includes return visits to their division rivals, always a challenge regardless of records. Add in matchups with the Philadelphia Eagles, Washington Commanders, Baltimore Ravens, Cincinnati Bengals, San Francisco 49ers, and Las Vegas Raiders, and the margin for error becomes razor thin. With 5 of those 6 non-divisional road games against 2024 playoff teams or contenders, it's clear that Chicago must take full advantage of their home slate. The contrast in difficulty between home and away games reinforces the importance of early success. If the Bears can defend their turf effectively, then pulling off 3 or 4 wins on the road could set them on course for a 9 or 10-win season, potentially enough to secure a wild card berth in the NFC. Of course, much of that will depend on the chemistry of a new-look offense led by rookie quarterback Caleb Williams and the continued development of head coach Ben Johnson's system. Additionally, there are lessons to be learned from the previous season's scheduling quirks. In 2024, all 6 of the Bears' divisional matchups were crammed into the final 8 weeks, a scheduling anomaly that made for a chaotic finish to the year. While the NFL may opt for a more balanced distribution this time, it's likely that at least one divisional game will appear in Week 18, a trend that has become standard across the league. Balancing early wins with strong divisional performances will be key for Chicago to keep pace in the NFC North. As the May 14th schedule release nears, fans can only wait and wonder. But one thing is clear: the road ahead for the Bears will be filled with both challenges and opportunities. With a favorable home slate, an energized coaching staff, and a promising young quarterback under center, expectations are quietly building for what could be the most compelling season in years. As anticipation builds toward the full schedule release, certain high-profile matchups are already starting to take shape based on known opponents, league trends, and a bit of educated guesswork. For the Chicago Bears, several potential primetime showdowns could not only capture national attention, but also become pivotal moments in a critical season of transition. There's growing speculation that the Bears might kick off the entire NFL season in primetime against the defending NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles. Traditionally, the Super Bowl champion or runner-up opens the season on Thursday night, and while divisional games often perform well in ratings, the NFL may opt to save those matchups for later in the year. This opens the door for a marquee interconference battle. NBC broadcaster Mike Tirico, who handles the call for the NFL's opening night, recently hinted at an early season Bears game on his schedule, perhaps unintentionally raising eyebrows. While he stopped short of confirming anything specific, his comment has added fuel to the fire that Chicago could be featured on the national stage in Week 1. the potential storyline is too good to ignore. The Bears, led by number 1 overall pick Caleb Williams, represent one of the league's most intriguing unknowns. Meanwhile, the Eagles are retooling their offense under a new coordinator, possibly creating a window of vulnerability. If you're going to upset a powerhouse like Philadelphia, catching them early might be the best shot. This matchup could mirror the 2023 season opener between the Lions and Chiefs, which saw Detroit announce its resurgence to the entire league. Chicago could be poised for a similar coming-out party. Few rivalries in sports rival the historic intensity of Bears-Packers, and 2025 could see that rivalry rekindled on one of the biggest stages possible. Christmas Day. The NFL has made it clear that Christmas football is here to stay, and with this year's holiday falling on a Thursday, the league is planning a triple header. If that's the case, Bears at Packers feels like a no-brainer. Both teams appear to be ascending. Chicago ended last season with a win over Green Bay, and the coaching tension between Ben Johnson and Matt LaFleur, fueled by offhand comments and subtle jabs, has added another layer of intrigue. Snow at Lambeau Field under the lights on Christmas Day? It's tailor-made for national television and could be one of the season's most watched games regardless of the team's records. One of the most emotionally charged storylines that could unfold this season involves Aaron Rodgers potentially returning to Soldier Field, but not in green and gold. The longtime Packers quarterback, if he signs with the Pittsburgh Steelers as widely rumored, would face the Bears once again in 2025. This time, it would be as a visiting opponent in a city where he famously declared, "I still own you." That kind of drama practically writes itself, and the league has never shied away from promoting storylines that tug at the heartstrings of long-suffering fan bases. Placing Steelers versus Bears on Sunday Night Football in mid-October or around Halloween would be a perfect opportunity for Chicago to exorcise old demons. Rodgers has tormented this franchise for nearly 2 decades, and Bears fans would relish the chance to flip the script in front of a national audience. Chicago's roster, at least on paper, appears deeper and more balanced than Pittsburgh's. If the game happens, and if Rodgers is indeed under center for the Steelers, it could be a defining moment for the Bears' new era. One game that's certain to carry emotional weight is the rematch with the Washington Commanders. Last year's game ended in heartbreak for Chicago, as a dramatic Hail Mary from Jaden Daniels stunned the Bears in the final seconds. It was a gut-wrenching moment that arguably expedited the end of the Matt Eberflus era. While the defeat lingered, it also cleared the path for the current regime to take hold. This year, the rematch will likely be broadcast on Fox in the afternoon window, a high-visibility time slot. Both teams boast young quarterbacks, Caleb Williams for Chicago and Jaden Daniels for Washington, and play in major media markets. The drama of last year's finish is likely to be replayed repeatedly throughout the broadcast, with the networks leaning into the potential rivalry between the two signal callers. Whether or not this becomes the next Brady versus Manning remains to be seen, but the intrigue is undeniable. While individual games will no doubt shape the storylines of the 2025 season, perhaps no moment will carry more emotional weight than Ben Johnson's return to Detroit. As the new head coach of the Bears, Johnson previously served under Dan Campbell with the Lions and was instrumental in transforming Detroit into a legitimate NFC contender. Now he finds himself tasked with dethroning his former team as the top dog in the division. The Bears' matchup with the Lions in Detroit is a strong candidate for a Monday Night Football slot, providing ample time to promote the personal and professional ties between the two head coaches. Johnson has not been shy in expressing confidence in his new role, and that energy is already creating a buzz around the franchise. Facing off against Campbell under the bright lights could be the beginning of a new divisional rivalry that defines the next generation of NFC North football. It's important to note just how much has changed for Chicago in the past year. From the hiring of Johnson to the drafting of Caleb Williams, this team has undergone a total identity overhaul. Last year's painful losses, including the one to Washington, highlighted the limitations of the previous coaching staff. With new leadership, a revitalized offensive line, and a quarterback brimming with potential, the franchise is finally showing signs of a coherent vision. The key for Chicago in 2025 will be execution. With a realistic path to a winning season based on their home schedule, coupled with an opportunity to make a statement in primetime matchups, the Bears find themselves in a rare position. The hype is real, but the window for proving legitimacy is narrow. Emerging from the long shadow of mediocrity will require consistency, discipline, and perhaps a little luck along the way. As the official NFL schedule drops on May 14th, fans will finally get the answers to many of their questions. When will the Eagles game happen? Will Rodgers come back to Soldier Field? How soon will Johnson face his old team? And perhaps most importantly, can the Bears take the next step and return to playoff relevance? One thing is for sure, 2025 won't be just another season for the Chicago Bears. It has the potential to be a defining year that marks the beginning of something special. And if the early speculation proves correct, they'll be doing it all under the bright lights, with the entire football world watching.